Hey everyone, I'm glad you're here today. There's a lot of talk and confusion going around about SNAP right now, and many people are worried because they've heard that they might have to reapply for their benefits. Some officials even hinted that everyone could be asked to start over, and I know that made a lot of folks nervous, especially those who've gone through the long forms, the interviews, and the waiting before. But here's the surprising part. The USDA is saying something very different, and what they said completely changes how people should think about this. And later in this video, around the middle, I'm going to reveal one hidden rule that starts in 2028. It's something most people haven't heard about, and it may be the real reason so many states are suddenly tightening things. So stay with me, because this could affect you or someone you care about. Let's begin. A lot of the worry and confusion started because of something people heard after the new SNAP legislation was signed. This new bill, which the administration has been calling a major rebuild of the SNAP system, included the biggest set of changes in years. And one of the main officials helping lead these changes, Brooke Rollins, said in interviews that the government wants to rebuild SNAP from the ground up. At one point, she even mentioned the idea that everyone might be asked to reapply. Naturally, that scared millions of people. Anyone who has been through a full SNAP reapplication knows it isn't quick or simple. It often means new forms, updated documents, interviews, and weeks of waiting. So when people heard everyone might have to reapply, it spread fast online and created a lot of anxiety. But here's what most people missed. The official USDA statement says something completely different. According to the USDA, there is no national order telling every person to reapply. Instead, they said households should simply continue with their normal recertification schedule. Recertification is what you already do every 6 months or once a year. A simple update of your income and household details. And that difference is very important. Reapplying is like starting over from scratch. Recertifying is just checking in and updating your information. So why did everything get so confusing? Part of it is because the administration is looking closely at what they call errors in the system. One claim they made is that thousands of deceased people were supposedly still listed as receiving SNAP. Whether that number is accurate or not is being debated because SNAP benefits aren't mailed as checks, they are on EBT cards. But that claim fueled the argument that the system needs to be rebuilt. That comment, combined with interviews and headlines, made it sound like a complete restart was coming. So right now, here's the truth in plain language. There is no national reapplication order at this time, but the discussion around rebuilding the program is real, and that's why people feel confused. This is why it's important to understand the next part, because big changes are already happening behind the scenes even without a reapplication order. Even though officials say you don't need to fully reapply right now, several major SNAP rule changes are already in effect, and they are affecting millions of people. These come from the one big, beautiful bill that was recently signed, and these rules are some of the biggest updates SNAP has seen in many years. The first, and possibly most important, change is the expansion of the work requirement age range. Before, able-bodied adults without dependents had to meet work requirements between ages 18 and 49. Now, that requirement goes all the way up to age 65. This means someone who is 63 and may already be struggling to find work because hiring slows down for older adults, now has to meet the same work rules as someone 30 years younger. That's a dramatic shift, and it's one reason so many people feel concerned. There were also major changes to exemptions. Previously, if you were caring for a child under 18, you didn't have to meet work requirements. Now, that age was lowered to 14. Some people also lost exemptions entirely, including veterans, homeless individuals, former foster youth. The only group that gained a new exemption was American Indians. The next question is, why make these changes? Supporters argue that this is about fairness and ensuring benefits go to people who truly cannot work. One of the loudest supporters, Speaker Mike Johnson, said something along the lines of, "If you're able to work and you refuse, you're cheating the system." However, critics strongly disagree. Food banks, legal experts, and hunger advocates say these rules don't match real life. many people on SNAP are already working, often low-wage jobs, part-time shifts, or inconsistent hours. Others face huge barriers like lack of transportation, caring for elderly or disabled family members, or living in rural areas far from jobs. The Congressional Budget Office estimates that around 4 million people could lose SNAP by 2034 because of these new rules. That includes entire households where one adult loses eligibility, which affects the whole family's food budget. So even without a reapplication order, these new rules are already reshaping how millions of people use SNAP, and the effects will continue growing in the years ahead. Now let's talk about something most people don't know yet. And honestly, this is one of the biggest reasons states are on edge about SNAP right now. Starting in 2028, a new rule says that if a state makes too many errors in its SNAP system, the state will have to start paying part of the benefit costs themselves. This is a huge deal. Right now, SNAP benefits are paid by the federal government, but under the new rule, if a state's error rate is too high, meaning mistakes in paperwork, incorrect calculations, missed updates, or not following the new work rules closely enough, then the state must cover part of the costs. And the estimate for this? Up to $100 billion across states. Think about that for a moment. Many state agencies are already struggling with staff shortages, outdated computer systems, and long processing times. Now imagine those same states suddenly being told, if you make too many mistakes, you'll have to pay the bill yourselves. That creates a strong incentive for states to become much stricter with verification. That's why some people think that even if the federal government hasn't ordered everyone to reapply, states might choose to tighten things on their own to protect themselves financially. This could mean more document requests, more frequent recertifications, stricter income checks, more letters asking for proof, quicker removal of people who miss paperwork deadlines. Not because states want to be difficult, but because they cannot afford massive penalties. Another reason this matters is that errors in SNAP are rarely caused by fraud, even though that's what people hear on TV. According to the Congressional Research Service, most errors happen because of paperwork issues, income changes, inconsistent work hours, state processing delays, computer system glitches. Actual fraud is rare, and when it does happen, it's usually retailers, not families, doing illegal transactions. So the idea that thousands of dead people are collecting benefits sounds shocking, but the reality is far more complicated. Often it's just a system that hasn't updated fast enough. All of this explains why states are already preparing for big changes, even if reapplication hasn't been ordered nationally. Even though the new SNAP rules were presented as a way to ensure fairness, the reality is that some groups are being hit much harder than others. And many of these people were already struggling long before these changes were announced. For example, one of the biggest shifts is the higher work requirement age, which now goes up to 65. That means adults in their early 60s, people who may face age discrimination in hiring or physical limitations, must meet the same work rules as someone much younger. This puts a heavy burden on people who are already finding employment difficult at their age. Another major impact is from the narrowing of exemptions. Before, caregivers for children under 18 were exempt from work requirements. Now that age was lowered to 14, which leaves thousands of caregivers unprotected. This affects grandparents, single parents, and older adults caring for teenagers. Some groups lost exemptions entirely: veterans, homeless individuals, former foster youth. These are groups with well-documented challenges: unstable housing, trauma, health issues, inconsistent work hours, and limited transportation. Removing their exemptions makes it harder for them to keep their benefits, even when they are trying to meet the rules. Then there are groups who were newly excluded from SNAP altogether, including legally present immigrants, refugees, trafficking survivors. These individuals often come to the U.S. with nothing. SNAP has historically helped them get food while they rebuild their lives. Now, many have lost eligibility, which advocacy groups have called unspeakably harmful. Even people who are working may lose benefits because the new rules are stricter about verifying hours. Many SNAP recipients already work jobs like retail, food service, caregiving, part-time shifts, seasonal work. Their hours change weekly, and the system often can't keep up. So when paperwork doesn't match perfectly, people lose benefits even when they are doing everything right. It's estimated by the Congressional Budget Office that about 4 million people could lose SNAP by 2034 because of these rule changes. That includes entire households whose food budgets depend on a single adult's eligibility. This is why communities, food banks, and advocates say the new rules don't match real life, and why so many families feel pressure even though reapplication hasn't been ordered yet. One of the biggest reasons lawmakers say they want to tighten SNAP is something you've heard over and over again: fraud. It's a word that gets thrown around a lot, and it makes the public worry. But the truth is very different from what most people imagine. According to the Congressional Research Service, actual fraud in SNAP is rare, and when it does happen, it's usually not families buying groceries. It's retailers who break the rules, not the people using EBT cards. So if fraud is rare, why does the system get blamed so often? The answer is simple. Paperwork mistakes are being counted as errors, and those errors are being used as justification for major changes. Most SNAP errors come from things like changes in income that people didn't know they had to report, immediately fluctuating work hours that don't match the pay stub, state computer systems not updating fast enough, lost paperwork, slow processing times, incorrect data matching. These are not fraud, yet this is what the administration cites when pushing for stricter rules. A recent example is the claim that thousands of deceased people were still receiving SNAP. That sounds shocking, but SNAP benefits aren't mailed checks. They are on EBT cards, and when someone passes away, those cards stop working as soon as the case closes. Most of those dead people on SNAP turned out to be data errors, not real cases. But once statements like that spread, they make people worry that the entire system is full of abuse. This gives lawmakers a reason to add tougher rules, require more paperwork, and push states to monitor everything more aggressively. This matters for regular families because when politicians talk about cracking down on fraud, what they often end up doing is increasing verification, shortening deadlines, making recertification harder, removing exemptions, adding interviews, requiring more documents, forcing more frequent reporting. These steps mainly hurt seniors, disabled adults, people with unstable hours, and low-income workers, not fraudsters. The sad part is that most people who use SNAP are already trying to follow the rules. Many are working, caring for family, or dealing with health challenges. But the focus on fraud makes it seem like families are doing something wrong, when most are simply trying to survive rising prices. So when we hear talk about fraud being the reason behind the new SNAP rules, it's important to remember this. The problem is not people abusing the system. It's the system itself making mistakes. Now let's talk about the people who feel these rule changes first. Not politicians, not agencies, but everyday families, seniors, and workers who depend on SNAP to help them get through the month. Food banks across the country have already started seeing the effects. During the government shutdown back in November, SNAP payments were briefly paused. What happened? In some areas, the demand for food assistance shot up by 1,000% almost overnight. And here's the important part. Those numbers never fully returned to normal. Why? Because people are living with constant uncertainty, not knowing whether their benefits will drop, whether they'll be asked for more documents, or whether new rules will remove them. When people feel unsure, they turn to food banks. And food banks are saying, shelves are emptying faster, donations are down, more seniors are coming in, more working families need help, more parents report skipping meals so their kids can eat. This is happening even though there hasn't been a nationwide requirement to reapply for SNAP. Many people feel on edge because every few months, a new rule or update seems to come out. And for low-income households, any small disruption can create panic. For example, a missed letter can cause benefits to stop. A delay in processing can cause a family to lose food for a week or more. A small raise in income can accidentally trigger a closure. A work requirement might not match someone's unpredictable schedule. This instability affects seniors the most. Many older adults write in saying their food budget lasts only 2 weeks now, or they worry about losing SNAP because they can't upload documents online. Caregivers are also affected. People caring for elderly parents or disabled relatives often have unpredictable hours and struggle to meet the new rules. Rural families face different problems: fewer jobs, fewer buses, and long distances to local SNAP offices. And all of this is happening before any major changes have officially taken place. The deeper truth is simple. When rules get tighter, families feel it long before the changes become official. This is why it's so important to stay informed, stay prepared, and keep track of updates, because even small adjustments to SNAP rules can ripple out into huge impacts on real people's daily lives. Now let's talk about something most people haven't heard much about, but it may turn out to be one of the biggest pieces of this entire situation. While the federal government has not ordered everyone to reapply for SNAP, states are quietly preparing for major changes, and these preparations could affect millions of households. Here's the key issue. Beginning in 2028, states will be financially penalized if they make too many SNAP errors. And remember, most errors are not fraud. They're things like paperwork issues, income changes that weren't reported quickly enough, or computer mismatches. But the new rules say that if a state makes too many of these mistakes, they will have to pay part of the SNAP benefit costs themselves. The estimate for these penalties could reach $100 billion across states. For states already dealing with staffing shortages, outdated systems, and overflowing caseloads, this is a huge concern, and it creates a strong incentive for them to tighten their procedures long before 2028 arrives. This is why many experts believe some states may soon push people to provide more documentation, shorten recertification windows, send more verification letters, reduce tolerance for small mistakes, increase automated checks, and in some cases even encourage full reapplication sooner. Not because the federal government ordered it, but because states want to avoid being penalized later. Some states are already considering new digital verification systems that automatically check work hours, income, tax data, and even employment records. While this could help some people, automated systems are also known for causing mistakes, especially for seniors, disabled adults, and workers with fluctuating hours. If the system flags something incorrectly, a person could temporarily lose benefits, even if they're fully eligible. This is one reason people feel nervous. They understand that when governments update systems, there's always a period of confusion, and regular families often pay the price. Also, states with tight budgets or high poverty rates might tighten SNAP rules faster than states with more resources. That means two families in different states could experience completely different levels of difficulty accessing SNAP, even though the national rules are the same. So, even though there is no national reapplication requirement right now, states preparing for 2028 may create changes that feel like one. With all these changes happening, both on the national and state levels, a lot of people are wondering what they can do right now to avoid losing benefits by accident. The truth is, most people who lose SNAP don't lose it because they're ineligible. They lose it because of small paperwork issues. So here's what actually matters most right now. 1. Stay on top of your recertification. Even though there's no order to reapply, you do still have to complete your regular 6-month or yearly recertification. Don't skip it. Don't delay it. If your state sends a letter, handle it right away. Missing a recertification is one of the main reasons eligible families lose benefits. Second, check your mail and your online portal. Many people lose benefits because they didn't see a request for documents or a reminder that something is due. If your state uses an online account, check it at least once or twice a month. 3. Keep your income and household information updated. If something changes, someone moves in or out, your hours increase, you start or lose a job, report it within the time your state requires. Even small changes can trigger reviews. 4. Respond quickly to any request from your local office. Sometimes states mail verification forms with very short deadlines. Even if you think you already sent the information, send it again. A fast response helps prevent interruptions. 5. Don't wait for problems to fix themselves. If you see something wrong, a missing payment, a closed case, a confusing message, call your state agency immediately. Many issues can be corrected if caught early. 6. Prepare for more document requests in the future. As states prepare for 2028 penalties, they may start tightening things now. You might notice more verification requests, more frequent reporting, automated letters, shorter deadlines. 7. Stay informed. The rules are changing quickly. What's true today may shift as states interpret the new legislation. And remember, you're not alone. Millions of families are trying to navigate these changes at the same time. Staying aware and organized is the best way to keep your benefits stable. By now, you can probably see why so many people feel overwhelmed by the changes happening to SNAP. It's not just the new rules, it's the pace, the confusion, the mixed messages, and the constant fear of losing benefits that many families rely on. Every day, people write in saying their SNAP benefits barely last 2 weeks, or that rising food prices are wiping out their grocery budget before the month is even halfway over. When you add changing rules, new work requirements, more paperwork, and the worry of a possible reapplication, later on, it's no surprise that people feel stressed. Most people don't want anything free. They just want stability. They want a system that works, that's clear, and that doesn't make them jump through hoops every few months. They want to buy food without worrying if a missing letter or a computer error will suddenly cut off their benefits. One thing many folks wish the government understood is that the majority of SNAP households already have at least one working adult. According to the American Community Survey, low wages, not laziness, are the biggest reason people need help. Some people work 2 or 3 jobs, but still can't keep up with rent, groceries, utilities, and medical costs. People also wish policymakers understood that life's challenges don't disappear after age 50. Many older adults struggle with health issues, disability, caring for grandchildren, or trying to find work in areas where jobs are scarce, especially in rural towns. Strengthening work requirements up to age 65 ignores how difficult it can be for older adults to get hired or maintain consistent hours. Another issue people want the government to see is how tightening rules affects entire families, not just individuals. If one adult loses benefits because of a paperwork issue, the whole household, including children and seniors, feels the impact. And then there's the fear. People worry that with state penalties coming in 2028, the system will get stricter and mistakes will become more common. They worry that letters will be missed, deadlines will be overlooked, and automated systems will incorrectly flag them. What people want is simple: clear rules, fair treatment, enough support to afford food, less stress and confusion, and policies that reflect real life, not assumptions. These concerns are real, and millions of families are feeling them every day. Before we wrap up, let's take a moment to look at what all of this really means for you moving forward. SNAP is going through some of the biggest changes in years, and even though the rules can feel confusing or overwhelming, the most important thing to remember is this: you do not need to reapply right now unless your state specifically tells you to. The official guidance from the USDA is clear. Continue with your normal recertification schedule, whether that's every 6 months or every year. As long as you stay on top of that and keep your information updated, you are doing exactly what the system requires at this time. But at the same time, it's smart to stay alert, because while the national government hasn't ordered a full reapplication, the new legislation, tighter rules, and upcoming 2028 penalties mean states may start adjusting their procedures on their own. Some states may ask for more verification, some may shorten deadlines, and some may send more letters asking for updates. That's why the best thing you can do is stay organized and informed. Here's a quick checklist to help keep your SNAP benefits safe. Check your mail regularly. Never ignore letters from your state agency. Most people lose benefits because they open mail too late or miss a deadline. Keep your income and household information up to date. Even a small change, like hours increasing or someone moving in, must be reported. Complete your recertification early. Don't wait until the last minute. Turning it in early avoids problems. Use your online portal. Many states now send messages through the online system instead of paper mail. Checking it twice a month can prevent surprises. Call your local office when something seems wrong. Small issues can often be fixed quickly if caught early. Stay informed about your state's decisions. Every state handles SNAP differently. Knowing your state's plans can prevent confusion later. And finally, remember this, you're not alone. Millions of people rely on SNAP, and millions of people are trying to understand these changes just like you. Your questions, your concerns, and your experiences matter. If you found this information helpful, consider subscribing and sharing it with someone who might need it. And before you go, tell me in the comments, what's the number one thing you wish SNAP officials understood about your situation? Your voice helps others feel seen, and it helps guide future conversations. Take care of yourself, stay informed, and I'll talk with you soon.